Your neighbors must love you.
Yeah, not so much.
Welcome back, Wackadoo Racing Channel. Today we got me, Cody, we got D, and we got Pops in the house today. Got a lot of stuff we're working on. Where we left off, we were finalizing some of the rear end wiring, getting it pulled to the front of the car, and we realized we didn't have enough room to actually get it into the engine bay. So perfect timing to pull said motor and trans, start working on getting that cleaned up and finalized, start cleaning out the engine bay, and then start punching holes through for wiring so we can final paint everything and start really getting this thing dressed up so we can put it back together, get it running. I got a little something to show you guys. So last night, instead of working on the car, we actually got a hold of Todd Martin down here with Opel's Unlimited, and we were able to basically snake the one L88 Opel GT hood that he had left in stock. So I'm special now. But really cool dude, showed us everything that he had in the shop over there at Opel's Unlimited. Just so happens we're 15 minutes away. So he's got a lot of stuff, he's got a lot of information. Really cool dude and helped us out a lot with this. Fun fact on that, this hood is actually fully fiberglass and it is made to use the inner skeleton of the original hood for structure. That's going to allow us to keep the actual factory mounting points for the hood hinge and everything else. So all in all, I think it's going to set off the aesthetic and make it look even more Hot Wheels than it already is. So, all good things. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and start working on the engine bay. D is going to start working on the Opel motor. But first he's going to take a little bit of a detour. We really got to start working on this thing. We got a plan to get it running by a certain date, and you guys will get to see that. So he's going to start making radiator brackets and everything else for that. Then he's going to jump over to the motor, where we're going to have to put it actually back on the cherry picker, separate engine and trans, do the clutch, degrease it, clean it, maybe paint some parts. There's a list of stuff we got to do. So we'll get to crack-a-lackin'. It might not be as informative. It's just going to be a lot of show and tell, but let's just get to it.
What you got going on, Cody?
Just, you know, cleaning up engine bay. You got a lot of gunk and a lot of the old flat black that they just rattle canned onto here. So
Show them what that looks like up close. Let's take a little off right there.
So that's how easy it comes off.
Take some off right there. I got good lighting.
So it comes off.
He's got to do that.
Comes off pretty quick and easy. I mean, the other option.
To the whole engine bay. So he's going to basically be doing that the entire day. So let me show you what I got going on while he does that for the rest of the day. Yeah, that's what I thought. So we're here on the Cat motor. We start working on running an exhaust. So we're going to do our break-in. I'm trying to aim for next week, hopefully, if we can do enough. Somebody's salty because he's got to grind all day. So managed to get my collectors, and then we mocked up some piping so that I can run my muffler collected way down there on the driveway so we can do the cam break-in without blowing our ears out, and we can actually hear what's going on with the motor if we need to troubleshoot anything. But now that that's done, I got a couple of brackets I need to make up and work on wiring some of this and so on and so forth. But yeah, he's gonna do that. I'm gonna do this, and as soon as I get bored with this, I'm gonna start putting the clutch in that until I get bored with that, and then I'm gonna heckle him. Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Alright guys, give you a little update. So D was able to get his run stand radiator mount mocked up. We got plenty of clearance on the back side, so that should sit and fit really well for when we go to get this thing fired up and running. moving on to the Opel, I was able to get all that wire wheeled off, get it nice and clean, at least as clean as I could. We still have that one patch panel there. We put a flat strap across top of this to clean that edge up a little bit. I got to sand that down. And then started priming because Robin was bored. So started priming, got about half of it primed out with the first coat. Once we get the panel in and all this stuff sanded down, prime the rest of it, really start looking for where we're gonna punch through with the wiring harness. Other thing we were able to do, we got the intercooler out. We got that painted. Want to get rid of the FM that was across the front of this from Flying Miata. Love you guys, but we got something special. So, lovely wife Robin was able to cut out a nice little wackadoo stencil with our logo on it. That's going to go onto the face, and then we're going to paint it high gloss black. So, you'll see what that looks like. I'm excited.
Cody was being very impatient to peel the decal off of this so we can see the paint underneath, so we gave him a task so he'd leave that alone for a few minutes while the paint set up. It's come to our attention that probably around the time you realized that we painted the intercooler, a lot of you probably lost your freaking mind because you've seen the same thing that everyone else has. The same couple of YouTube videos that say, oh, you can't do that. You can do that. We did do that. Yes, you do lose a little bit of your heat transferring ability, something to the effect of 3%. Whatever. Sleepers have been painting their intercoolers black since the first time there was ever street drags with turbo cars, I'm sure. And we got plenty of friends, since we live in California, where modifying your car is kind of a big no-no for CHP, that have to hide the fact that they've upgraded the intercooler or turbo or so on and so forth, so they paint them black. It happens all the time. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. Relax.
Is it painted? Yes, it is. It's black and it is yellow on most of the visible sides, but not all the sides. And really, the paint is just a light dusting, so we don't have anything to worry about. Calculated risks.
Sometimes it's about the things you don't see. So the car's up on rollers, so it's even higher right now, so you'd actually be seeing it like this from about 6 feet away. However, when the car's coming down the road, we didn't want to see the big silver intercooler. We wanted to keep it black. So the aesthetic appeal there made it worth it for us to paint it. Alright, so we sent Cody over here to distract him from peeling decals. And we got our template that we made. So all we did is we went ahead, he's cutting this out and he's trying to get it as close as possible so that we can get it as close to our template as possible. And here, inside of the engine bay where we removed that section for a little bit of clearance, went ahead and used masking tape, covered the area, painted it from the inside so we'd have a perfect transfer of what that's supposed to look like. He's going to make it a little bit oversized, and then we're going to form it and get it into place, get it tack welded up.
I was just trying to make TikTok. I'm not trying to be. Still got the light on.
Alright guys, so as you can probably hear, got some rattle cans going, but we were able to get the engine bay completely primed and wet sanded down, and they're going to town, getting everything going. Nice and dark, high gloss black all throughout the whole engine bay. Give you guys a little update when she's all done.
And there you have it, guys. That is the engine bay painted up. Now, I don't know if it'll be nearly as dark on screen later as it is right now, but it is like an ultra black void. It looks like space in there. Looks great. We had a little bit of extra manpower today, so we went ahead and got it painted up. We still have a little bit more stuff that's going to have to happen. We're going to have to still knock the holes in for the grommets and a little bit of other stuff and maybe a little bit of touch-up work in between. But 95% of what needs to happen inside of here as far as paint is concerned is done. I'm really happy with it. It looks phenomenal, and it's going to contrast everything that's done to the motor when it's done and goes back in really beautifully. I feel good. How do you feel? What is...
I feel really good. Whack-a-doodle it out, baby.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's going to look really good up front.
Yeah. Came out exactly how we wanted it.
So now that we... I really like that. So So now that this is all wrapped up and that is able to go back in, I think the next thing to do, we still have a little bit of time tonight, considering we're actually done relatively early because of our additional manpower.
Yeah.
So I think
we got a clutch.
We're going to knock out that clutch.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to throw her back in a time lapse one more time, and then try and knock that out.
Yep.
So I went ahead and swapped out the flywheel. So there's actually 3 pretty normal weights for Miata flywheels. There's lightened, stock weight, and then there's a middle one. So the middle one allows for a lot of kinetic energy to remain, but you're not losing a lot of parasitic loss by having to spin the additional weight, which works out well with turbo because you maintain some of that inertia, but you're not losing that parasitic loss. So that's what this one is. I think it's like 11 pounds or something like that. We've got a stage 1 flying Miata clutch. This is considered the Happy Meal kit, as well as a brand new throwout bearing and a brand new pilot bearing that we tamped into the flywheel. Thank you. So that's that. I mean, nothing too fancy.
All right, guys. Final update for the night. Don't mind him.
Just ignore me.
Ignore him. We're all tired today. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
Engine bay cleaned and painted. Look at the glorious hood. Then we were able to get motor and trans separated. Flying Miata stage 1 clutch, flywheel, and throwout bearing kit. Also got this nice little pretty intercooler painted up with the Wackadoo logo. And last but not least, good old radiator mount for the run stand for the 472. Any final words, D, for the night?
See you again Monday. We're only taking a break because we need to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Daniel? Any last words? No? Goodbye? All right, cool. If you've ever wondered what it looks like behind an Opel TT dash, it's a lot of wires. A lot of unnecessary stuff. If you're doing what we're doing. So here's the skinny, guys. Now this front dash panel is off. I really do love the look of everything. It even has these little spots here for all your different lights. Speaking of, there's all the different lights that come stock. But I really do love the way this thing looks. So I'm either gonna keep it or I might remake it out of aluminum or fiberglass. But we're definitely gonna keep tack and speedo the same size, and I might go with digital multi-gauges for these 3. That way I kind of keep the same aesthetic and get more information without having an overload of gauges. And then this front piece down here, probably going to either cut it out or make a blank off plate, because I've got a big radio, big stereo that's going to go into here, as well as my control switches for ignition, fuel pump, and all that stuff that we're planning on doing. So I think it's a good start. It's a good template. Now we just got to start getting rid of some of this extra, because at the end of the day, all we're really keeping on this thing is headlights and taillights that are going to be stock Opel, along with some signal wires and stuff like that. But that's the gist of it as far as what's going to stay stock on this car.
2 hours later.
All right, kids, give you a little lowdown on what we got going in here. So looking at everything, you got the main loom right here in the middle. Let me get you a little light here. So you got the majority of the main loom here. We've got the engine harness right here, kind of tucked behind everything with the grommet in place, pushing through. We've got this 3-inch grommet here is all of our driver side diagnostic box and just little plugs, miscellaneous stuff over there. Then over here on the passenger side, we've got ECU and the entire left side harness. All of this is going to go up into there, punch through. I just have to figure out exactly how much of it needs to punch through. We do have the main fuse box connections there that definitely need to go through, because the fuse box, if you remember, is running under the bottom of the car and then it's going to come up to the passenger side. So most of it's there. I got the ignition hanging here, we've got dash hanging there. The rest of it we actually ended up running on the driver's side. and connecting it back there to the rear harness section. So all in all, it's all pretty much there. Doesn't look like we're gonna have to lengthen any of the wires or splice anything in, so I think we're good to go on that.
Bonus footage, because we got so much done already on Saturday. We're going to take a little sidestep and we're going to work on Daniel's car. So Daniel recently acquired a Jetta TDI wagon. It needs a Banks kit and an intake and a tune. So today we're going to go ahead and start with the exhaust. So here's the before. Standing behind it and I can barely hear it. All right, first startup. So we got the cat back installed, and today we get to play with the new intake.
Plus a couple other things.
So somewhere right here, this whole thing is a new speed cold air intake. That's gonna go right around here. There we go. New speed cold air intake. Nice. Daniel managed to get the cold air intake installed. We got the cat back installed the other day. Tonight we managed to paint the valve cover. The valve cover? The valve
engine cover.
Plastic cover. It's
the engine cover.
And he also managed to get the Kerma TDI tune computer piggyback. It's basically a piggyback, right?
Yeah, it's a flash tune. So we got it started. Basically, you pull the stock tune off, send it to them, they send you back a modified tune, you put it back in. I also installed an MFI update, which is basically the fancy little computer that shows you all the funky details on the car, but this one shows you extra details like exhaust gas temperatures, coolant temperatures, intake temperatures, fuel temperatures, boost pressure. It has a lap timer, and it adds a whole bunch of other functions that are just, you know.
And that is fully integrated into the factory dash.
Yep.
Pretty sweet. So we're gonna throw that back on. He can do a power lap, see how everything's working. And Cody's over here picking away at this massive wiring harness. He's actually starting to get things running through the firewall. We're gonna come back to this once a little further along. For now, we're just gonna leave him to it. He's doing a great job. You're doing a great job, Cody.
Good job, Cody.
We're not talking about it.
Ooh. Ah.
We got a lot done this week. We're calling it a day on account of we're tired. Things happen to Daniel's car. He's excited. Things are happening to Cody's car. More things are happening to Cody's car. I'm gonna go edit video until I pass out.